Hey there everyone, Dr. Beth Westy here, and I wanted to pop on and talk about the top things that actually mess with your fertility. These are things that might seem super, common or maybe should be, more common sense, but oftentimes women completely skip over these things, completely skip over these ideas and just jump to, oh my gosh, this fertility thing, this magic bullet for fertility, right? And it can be really frustrating when you are chasing all the things, right? Chasing all the things to try and find the one magic thing, the one fantastic thing that's going to be working for you. Now, I'm a chiropractor by training, but I'm actually trained specifically in Eastern medicine and acupuncture for fertility issues, for women's health issues, cycle issues, hormones, everything else. So when I talk about a lot of things for fertility, I'm going to be talking about them from a very different standpoint. So it might sound different. It might sound like, what? I've never heard it like this before. And that's because I am bringing a whole different set of ideas to the female body when it comes to fertility. So one of the things that I've learned with working with a lot of women with fertility is that, Western medicine, goes about it a very different way than the rest of the world. And I don't want to say that there's like a right or wrong way. I just want to keep in mind that there are some other options out there that a lot of women have not tried, exposed themselves to, just because it's not the norm, or it's not considered mainstream, or your insurance doesn't cover it, right? Yeah. And it gets to be so frustrating because oftentimes women get kind of pushed down this road so far, and it's because their insurance covers something to a point, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I've been taking these meds and these meds and these meds, and I've been poked and prodded with this and that and the other, and now I'm still no further along, and now I got to pop for this really expensive thing to try and get pregnant, and where's that going to leave me then, right? So I always like to have women start with their bodies, how they naturally function, and get yourself as healthy as possible. So that's really the first thing that women miss when they're, the top things that mess with fertility. They're missing out on their overall health, your cycle health, like how regular is your cycle, ovulation, everything there. And this is something that I chat with women a lot. So I'm going to put a link below this video where you can schedule a call with me and we will chat about nutrition that matches your hormones, your cycle, everything. This is all based on my book, The Female Fat Solution. I do talk about nutrition that matches your hormones, everything else in there. I don't like to call it like fixing your cycle, but I get it to a point where it's a lot healthier, stronger, regular, and you know what to expect. But we talk about nutrition, exercise, everything else that you're taking, right? I have a 12-week program dedicated for women to really help with their hormones, and I have one specifically built for women for fertility. Specific for fertility. I have one for women when they just have, weight loss issues, one for women in perimenopause and menopause, but this one is for women for fertility because those needs are so different, and oftentimes what leads you down that path, your body needs to come back and restore to get to a point to be able to get and stay pregnant. I have a story, which I won't share right now, about my own pregnancies, things like that, about, just my own health journey with getting and having babies, things like that. I have a podcast as well, The Female Health Solution, where I've talked about some of this stuff on my podcast. So if you're curious, you can go listen to that. But I do, I'll be sharing my story more about that in the next coming videos, so you can stay tuned for those. But overall health is one of the things that women miss out on a lot. You're not sleeping well, right? You're missing out on a lot of things in general, right? You're not eating as good as you could. You're getting some junk food in. Yet you're like, oh, I got to get this supplement because it's going to help for my fertility, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Katie's saying, thanks for continuing your calling. It's so important and needed. Aw, thank you, Katie. Yes, right? Like, this is one of the things where I feel like so many women jump to, some different things, and they're really like, oh my gosh, you didn't build the foundation first. Build the foundation first, and it can take care of so many things, and then you know exactly what you're looking at next. So, like I said, taking all these supplements or something, you're like, I'm going to take all these supplements. This is going to be good for fertility, yet you're still going through the drive-through. That is going to mess up your blood sugar levels. Your insulin levels directly affect your ovulation. That's really important. right? Your cholesterol affects your cycle health and ovulation, right? So to go through the drive-through and then just take supplements, I'm like, you're like missing it, right? Sort of canceling itself out right there, you know? And doing the right exercise for your body for fertility. It's important to have movement. It's important for all of these things. But again, some women, they work out pretty intensely, you know? And if your body's in a high stress mode, which is the next thing we're going to be talking about, it's not able to ovulate properly, you know? Kelly is saying, making your salted caramel protein balls, and this popped up. I'm so Beth Westing right now. That's so great. Oh my God, the salted caramel protein balls, delicious. They're delicious. They honestly taste like candy. They don't even taste like, you know, they don't even taste like a protein ball. They're like candy. They're awesome. So exercise, stressing out, and then the next thing here is stress. Stress is, and this is something I'm going to be talking about, you know, throughout, you know, when I talk about fertility, and it's built into the 12-week program I have for women for fertility, because women will put stress on themselves because you're not getting pregnant as soon or as quick or whatever. Your body's not responding like you think it should, and oh my gosh, right? And there's this, I want to say, this sort of guilt and shame that we put on ourselves because of that. And it's so easy to do, yet the damaging effects are really powerful on our systems. And then we're also part of just a lifestyle where, you know, we are busy. We have stuff going on all the time, like technology and all these things, right? It's so wonderful. I get to share this message with so many women by just talking about this, right? It's amazing. But also, it's like the blessing and the curse of we are constantly on our phones. That screen actually affects our health and affects our female health. It does. You know, having that high stress all the time. If you have a high stress job, you're actually less likely to have a regular cycle and be able to conceive. These are really important things for women to be aware of when they're trying to get pregnant. Like your job stress could be that much. If you're really trying and focused for say 6 months to conceive, are you willing to either shift job responsibility, delegate, or do something different to be able to do that naturally? You know, like those are sometimes the things that it comes down to. And it just is what it is. But as women, you know, we are so blessed to be able to do so many things. But sometimes if we are going at a too fast of a pace and not delegating and not taking time for ourselves and getting revved up in that high stress mode, it actually decreases ovulation and actually messes up the timing. And then it just, you know, it messes with your fertility. It becomes that much harder, right? So those are things to be aware of, to really take a good look at your life, at where you're at and where things are going. And then is this the right thing for you to move forward? And the last thing I'm going to touch on, because there's a ton of things, right, that when it comes to fertility, I talk about all the things with people on phone calls, right? Because that's where the real questions come out. I know it. I know you might be thinking questions right now, but you might not type it and you might not say it right out loud here. That's fine. Schedule a call. We'll talk about it. You know, it's fine. I've heard it all. I swear. I guarantee I'm going to say right off the bat, it is normal, whatever your question is. And I guarantee I've heard it before, at least twice. So, so there's a lot of other things I'm going to be getting into with what women miss with fertility, you know, down the road and everything. And I'll be sharing more about my story with that too. But toxins is another big thing that women, again, I want to say completely, you know, just kind of forget about. And that's a really big deal. This is a huge one. These are the top things that women miss when it comes to fertility. So again, I should take this supplement or I should do this thing and that's going to really help. But if you are being exposed to chemicals, and it's so funny, like sometimes I see people talk about, we don't need to detox or we don't need to, you know, do that. Our bodies are healthy on their own, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, you know, some bodies may be able to detox regularly on their own, but if you have a lot of stress, your body has to detox that, and then it doesn't get to detox the other things. Your liver only can metabolize and process things at a certain pace, and if it's got too much work to do, it gets backlogged, and that's where it gets built up into your system. I wish there was a great way that you could just, you know, kind of hit a button and reset everything overnight. That would be amazing, but that's not how we're built. So it's really important that you're doing all the right things to regularly flush out excess hormone, excess stress hormone, any other toxins that may be in your body. There are sometimes when I'm working with women, we find out that there's an autoimmune issue, or there's a metabolizing issue with their bodies. Sometimes there's an underlying issue that's really present that may be, I don't want to say causing, but a piece of what they're struggling with fertility. And so we have to address that underlying issue. And oftentimes, no matter what the other issue is, it comes down to the fact that your body just gets built up with these toxins and needs help resetting. And again, that takes a little bit of time and patience and persistence to go through and reset. But once you get that reset, the hormonal balance that you get from there is amazing. It really, really is. So it's resetting and kind of starting fresh, starting over. Your body has this amazing ability to heal itself once it's given the opportunity. It has this amazing ability to turn things over, create new cells, just create a different, we'll say internal health environment, as long as it has the opportunity and it's available. So sometimes it's just, oh, shoot, I have this, issue, or I have a lot of stress, and so my body can't process this out, all this other stress out, and that's why it's getting backlogged. Dang, okay. So I either quit my job and move to the beach, okay, or I have to give my liver and some of my organs some help to flush out some of this excess stuff, right? Now, again, a lot of times too, if we're looking at, fertility, there's a gentle way to do that to the body. Like, I think we've all done the cleanses or something like that, where you're like, oh God, I gotta go to the bathroom, and I don't think I'm gonna be leaving all day. Those aren't fun. Those are, right? So those are things where I'm like, maybe there's a time and a place for that for people. This wouldn't be it. This is not where I would recommend it. I would recommend kind of doing a gentle restart, a gentle nudging with your body, just to, again, help reset it, because sometimes anything too quick, too harsh, too intense, again, would be seen as stressful by your system, and then you're just sort of adding to it, right? You don't need to add to it. You don't need to put more in your bucket to filter through, right? So it's again about resetting, and because toxins cause hormonal imbalance, they just do. So reset your body, get that balance back, get everything going again, so that your body can, really maintain a regular cycle. You can be as healthy as possible, and then the process is just easier from there, because if there is still an issue, it's so easy to identify, oh, it's just this little thing then to work with, right? Versus, oh my gosh, I don't know where to start. My period's all over the place, my cycle's all over the place, my ovulation is here and there, I'm not sleeping well, I have too much stress, I'm not eating well, I can't get to the gym, I don't have any movement in my day. Where do you start, right? Start with you. Start with your health. Start with that, and then go from there. Because once you have that solid foundation, it is so much easier to step into a place where you're like, okay, I got this. I can do this. I know my body's ready, and I know this is going to be successful for me. So that's what I got for you guys today. Please let me know if you have any questions. Again, if you're comfortable commenting with a question, you can do that. I check the comments of my videos, so I will respond there. If you're not comfortable commenting, you can either send me a message, right, on Facebook, or an email, but I'll put a link below where you can schedule a call with me, and we can chat about anything you have questions on there as well. All right, everybody have a great night, and I will see you later.